Hey yo, y'all, welcome to the WatchaMania 200 subscriber Q&A special. This is Gablash, hosted by your boy AdvyDeven. Had to get that in there. September 24th, 2023. How y'all doing? Two weekends were good. Hope the vibes have been kind. I know I've had a fantastic day. It's just been a very chill one, but fantastic nonetheless. But yo, I came through. I'm ready to answer some questions. What's up, Dara? Hey, Ray, how goes it, y'all? Oh, I didn't pop out my chat. Let me do that. That's something I'm missing. Words can be hard, y'all. We're gonna struggle through this one. Also, I'm trying something a little experimental, y'all. I'm gonna let the music play throughout the stream, just in case I fall silent for a few seconds, just kind of fill the dead air, because it's this podcast style, but it's not a podcast. I don't want to call myself a podcast. It's a space others occupy. Let's question those answers. Yes, exactly. No, I welcome it. Question my answers. Bounce them into other questions. There's no limit on questions so long as they're genuine. And by genuine, means, like, not douchey. Might lurk on and off working in this fantasy booking. Hell yes, we love fantasy booking, Rhea. That's... Feel free to send it my way, share it in the Discord or whatever, because it'd be neat to see what you got going on. Alright, I'm gonna double check, make sure I got all my comments. Okay, cool. Alright, well, they're over on the post. But yeah. The way this is gonna work, y'all, is what's up, Todd? How goes it? Also, shout out to Daniel Lowe. I saw popped in the chat earlier on today. I'm not sure if he hit the notifon or something. But yes, shout out to y'all. First off, if you could drop a thumbs up on this video, be very helpful, be very much appreciated. Get a scene. You know, anybody who might be looking for something like this. I can't imagine in this very moment, but if not this very moment, then later on, those thumbs up are going to help us out get that reach. So how this is going to work, y'all, is I have questions asked on this community post that I made earlier today that I really meant to make like 5 days ago, but I have some from y'all in the chat currently. Don't let that discourage you from asking questions here in the chat, because that is pretty much it. I don't feel like this is a grandiose enough situation for me to be like, oh, you have to send in a payment or something like that. Just literally ask the question in the chat, and I'm going to answer it so long as I feel comfortable doing so. And unless you're asking some super weird shit, that's not going to be the case. Also, just curse in the first 5 minutes, I do believe. Oh no, I'm just over the mile marker. Awesome. That's great. Hopefully that's still a thing, because the algorithm tends to change on us. It can be pretty rough, but you gotta roll with the punches. But yeah, so I'm gonna start off first off with the questions I got in here. The most recent one on the community tab. We got one from our own Dara Amazing. Yeah, Dara Amazing, Dara the Amazing, whichever you prefer to call him. Darwin's Lull is our preferred nickname for him on the server. It's pretty self-explanatory. He asks, how did I and Jesse come up with the WatchaMania name? So yes, for those of y'all who don't know, WatchaMania wasn't founded by just me. I am a co-founder alongside Jesse Chapman, aka WrestleWorld, formerly known as CFG South. We came together initially, just kind of doing a little collaborative effort of, knocked my mic, watching old style wrestling together, and we were trying to come up with a name for the stream where we sat there and we watched old wrestling. We started at the top in 93. We were watching through WCW and WWF, and then once we came around in 94, we added ECW to the mix. We were watching through them chronologically, through their flagship shows. And we wanted to come up with a series name more succinct instead of just calling it The Retros. And so, bouncing names around. And because he was joining me on the Dynamite Watchalongs over on my channel at that point, it ended up being like, I posed this super dumb name called Retro Elite, which is actually still like in the archive of this channel somewhere. I don't know why or how, but yes. And he was like, no, that's exceptionally dumb. We got to come up with something more clever. So then he just threw out the nowhere, WatchaMania. All him. He just went, WatchaMania. I'm like, that's so good. And then we started looking around. He looked into it. He found one YouTube channel that hasn't uploaded anything in over 10 years. That was just random wrestling highlight clips. It's called WatchMania 1. Hasn't been touched since then. It had like 60 subscribers. So we're like, let's go for it. And eventually, WatchMania became more than just that series. It became the Discord server. That was something that I heavily pushed for and making that happen. It was a bumpy road, but it happened, and it's awesome. WatchaMania ended up becoming so much of what it is, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Jesse just spitballed that name, and it stuck. Hey there, Todd. How is your night? My night is going well. My night is early. I'm here on the East Coast in the U.S., so it's just about dinner time. Evening's just starting. Wow, WatchaMania versus WatchaMania 1 win. We are WatchaMania Prime. We will claim the title in all of the alternate realities. We are, but my night has been, well, my day has been pretty awesome. I woke up very late, like at noon, because I stayed up super late last night. I really got to get out of that habit, but it's fun, and I like using my time off to enjoy it. And brain fart. And yeah, I vibed out, hung out with a friend, one of our mods here, Zoe. Actually, we gamed, doing some horror gaming for a good bit. It was a lot of fun. But yes, WatchaMania versus WatchaMania 1 win? Dara, only they can truly answer that question. They got to come out of hiding, whatever happened to them. Because they may have been the first one, but we're the best. Bring it. Alrighty, that's us. Next question. It was actually a question from me. Why don't I use this community tab more? Why don't I use this community tab more on YouTube? It feels like the community posts are kind of becoming a thing of the past, but at the same time, it could be really helpful. So I guess keep an eye on this channel a little bit more, because I'm going to try and utilize that to also push videos, stuff like that. Do interact with them if you could be so kind. That wasn't a random plug thing. I just saw that my comment was there when I posted it as a joke to myself, and I decided to roll with it. But yes, y'all, reminder we could do questions here in the chat if you're feeling like it. We got a community tab post that has some questions in the comment. The next one is actually, funny enough, from Zoe, Visions by Zoe. Shout out to Visions by Zoe, by the way. She does awesome gear. You should follow her on Twitter/X or Instagram. She's really good and needs to be seen more. She asks, if I could create my own match stipulation, what would it be and why? Now, this is a really thought-provoking question. This is a real thought-provoking question. Yes. I mean, obviously, I saw these questions when I pulled up this list before the stream, and that was the one that didn't immediately give me a thought of like how to answer. Because what I would want to see in wrestling, something like pure rules is really interesting to me. I feel like that could have been fully embraced. You could build a whole, not just a division, a whole promotion around the pure rules set that Ring of Honor implements for their pure rules, pure wrestling championship. But what I think they could do, what they could stand to do rather, is implement that a bit more. They could stand to have some pure tag team champions. I think they could stand to have a pure women's champion. Serena D would tear that division up. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome. Layla Hirsch is pure wrestling champion. Oh, that's, chef's kiss. I'd love to see pure wrestling rules implemented in more variation. A three-way pure rules match would be very intriguing, because there would be a few things you'd have to work around, like disqualification. How does that work? You know, does the match just get thrown out if someone gets disqualified? Is there no disqualification? Because that kind of really ruins the concept of pure wrestling, because it's not pure. So it's kind of hard to do pure multi-man action. So maybe a pure tag wrestling, maybe even pure trios wrestling. And you can go multiple ways with that. You can have each individual competitor have a certain amount of rope breaks, which was really hard on the referee. Really hard on the referee. I don't know if that's fair to them. Or, conversely, you could have one team have a full set of rope breaks. Maybe instead of 3, 5 rope breaks overall. I think 3 is still good enough. You can work around with that, because that's still, to make up for the lack of rope break, you have a partner to look out for you. The problem with that is, if you do pure tag team wrestling, then AEW has to get past their biggest weakness, and that is tag team wrestling production. There's going to be a multi-person pre-rules match. It has to be, yes, it has to be elimination, because if you bring in a weapon, you disqualify yourself. But I stand by the philosophy, because usually when a weapon's brought into a match that you get disqualified for it, it's something like you have to, like you kind of have to throw out the match immediately, and the opposition by default wins. But if there's more than one opposition, you can't just default to 2 until someone gets hit with the weapon. But the point of the DQ is to kayfabe stop them from getting hit, if you can help it. So yeah, elimination I think would be the way to go, Dar. But that would be so interesting. Decide Shibata's next competitor in a 4-way pure rules match. That would be so awesome. Josh Woods would look like a monster in such a setting. And not for nothing, that's perfect for his moniker, you know? So something like that, I think, would be awesome. There's other concepts that I've come up with in the past that have kind of fallen to the back of my mind, but I'm really trying to think of what they could be. What was it before? Because anything that I can think of off the top of my head is extremely TNA, like mid-2000s TNA in concept. And I'm not trying to have, here's 5 layers to a match and how you win it. Yes, Rhea, I think the best thing you can do for a promotion is make sure each and every single championship represents something completely different. And I don't just mean, here is the top singles champion, and here is the secondary singles champion. No, like a pure rules championship match. So now you wrestle under these type of rules. Tag team wrestling, you know, obvious tag team wrestling. Then you can go to like a hardcore championship because now it has to be wrestled under, you know, extreme rules or death matches or something like that. You know, when it's just, on one hand, it's easier to book when all of the championships, in a sense, represent something similar, if not the same thing. It diminishes their value by default, and it puts it that much more on the holder of the title to make it mean something. Bring back 6 sides. This is a threat. Impact. That's for real. I totally understand. Harder to bump in. I respect that. But I also respected how much of an alternative in America Impact was for having a 6-sided ring. So, yeah, I think that would be awesome. I'm trying to think of another gimmicky title that would be awesome to fit such a concept. Makes it hard to just default to easy choices match. I'm not familiar with the championship or what purpose it serves, but I'm glad that there are examples of that in pro wrestling. But that, you know, another, like the concept of the international title. I would kind of like it if that title was a title that could literally not be won by Americans. Like the only people who could not win the title were people who were US born. And yes, I understand what that does to Mox and Cassidy being champions and all of the challengers they've had. But like, so what? You have the TNT title right there, make it matter. The ideas behind the champion can only be challenged by people who are... Oh! So kind of like, but it's actually, but an actual international championship. I like that. I like that a lot. Sorry if you heard the slurp there. And y'all do let me know how you feel about the music. This is an experimental thing again. If you'd rather it just be no music, like traditional podcast style, I could just turn it off. And this is just kind of try to keep the vibes going a bit in between me reading things. I'm just gonna wait for Araya to clue me. Oh, no, never mind. You did just clue me. Okay. So the next question I got here on the community post is from another one of our enforcers. A Canadian Zebra, that one Cameron Zebra. Shout out to them. They host our Ring of Honor watch parties on the Discord server every Thursday when it premieres. Really appreciate them for that, but also, they're just really good company. They're a fun person. Hello, there they are! Lurking and lurking. How do, friends? Thank you so much for swinging by. Not sure if you literally just popped in or if you've just been lurking, but regardless, appreciate you popping in. But yes. Canadian Zebra asks, what programs would I recommend to someone who wants to get into streaming? Doing good, just ate dinner. Nice. Nice. I'm probably going to nom me some food after this. I'm not going to lie, that's going to be... Yeah, probably going to do me some tacos. It's going to be good. Ooh, that music came in intense. Strong to start off with. Maybe not intense. So yes, what programs would I recommend to someone who gets into streaming? I think it depends on what kind of stream you want to go for. Streamlabs is the easy, versatile go-to if you want to do streams of many different kinds, because for free alone, especially as an application, it's done me well in my 3 years streaming to my almost 4 years of streaming now. What? No, it's been about 3.5. Yeah, late 2020 is when I started. Okay, so we're coming. So pretty much 3 years. All right. I don't know why I failed at math so hard. That's normally my strong suit. But yes, Streamlabs is a good get. A couple of friends of mine, including Jesse, and uses what is it? Stream Elements. Stream Elements is a very good app, I suppose. One I see being used a lot by podcasters, and specifically one that works well with Zoom, is StreamYards. I was looking into that a little bit, but I kind of shied off, and because I didn't want to go through the trouble of having to convert everything I do in terms of like stream layout and stuff from my Streamlabs over to StreamYards, but that might be a change I make one day. I'm scared of the issues it may cause in the transition. I'd rather it be a very smooth experience. And I also so rooted into the Streamlabs process, because once you get onto the website and through the application, it can really help. It can really help in assisting you to run a stream more smoothly. You see the Streamlabs posts that pop up here in the chat. Well, I think that would be a little bit more organic if, like, I myself or a few others were doing that on occasion. I don't want to task anybody with that. It's right there to do that with, and it still helps because people will join the server off of that. People will see what we're doing in terms of like the fantasy stable or something like that, or follow the Twitter through that. There's also they have a quote system. They have alerts. You can set up your custom alert system. Like when I get a subscriber, to join us. Their Streamlabs almost on cue. The Nomadic Championship. So like the AEW title when it was All At Lamp. I kind of like that, Dar, because the implication, first off, it's a word for a championship you don't see used. That's what I like seeing. I've had enough of this company and that company and that company having an intercontinental championship. Let that name rest. All right. I love something like the Nomadic Championship. Fucking, what was it? The Gift of the Gods Championship that Lucha Underground had. Like things like that. That's so rad. I love that. Yeah, you can't make it in a game because the word isn't in there to pick on the list on 2K. Sure. But oh man, that's cool. The Ultra Violent Championship that GCW has, that's neat. Yeah, the Gift of the Gods. Yes, yes. Love that. So yes, in terms of the streaming program, I think that Streamlabs or StreamYards should be your go-to. Stream Elements if you want something more like Streamlabs, but not quite that program itself. I forgot, there seems to be some stigma with it. I think people get upset with how much it charges for its Prime version. You can pay $20 and it gives you a bunch of additional features, including being able to multicast to multiple platforms at once. It's something I've been considering doing because, not for nothing, I'd love to have WatchaMania get a reach out on TikTok. But the problem with that is time, effort, editing. All things I am very limited on in terms of resources. So that's something that will be ventured sooner rather than later, but something I can't guarantee I do any soon. Now, on to the next question, I suppose, for Todd here. If there's other details I can think of with it, I'll come back to it. But I think that's the most I can offer in terms of like programming when it comes to streaming. Oh, wait. Before I move on to that, I'll get to your question in just a moment, Todd. I'm not passing that one up. Just go get open. There's a few things I would invest in reactive, which would help. Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm mixing up my tabs here. Yes, actually, I would look into getting reactive if you're looking to do like something like PNG tubing. Maybe that's the exact program you'd need for that. Or if you're looking to have other users on your stream, like you've seen it when we did the Grizzly stream, I have Ben there and lighting up like that. I had the Grizzlies logo lighting up for when they were talking. That's through reactive. So that's a helpful little thing. I believe you got to link that through your Discord as well. Or I guess if you'll be using Zoom, but I'm not quite sure how to do that. I'm not a Zoom user. Okay, so I think that's the extent of what I have on that advice. So yes, my favorite dessert. That's a hard question to answer because, first off, chocolate. Chocolate is amazing. I love chocolates. I am a chocoholic. Okay, the more chocolate, the better. You can get me some of those brownie batter Oreos and just a big old mug of milk. I'm in heaven. That's it. Like, there's that. I love me, like, a rich chocolate cake. It's gotta, people hate this word, but it's gotta be very moist. It's gotta be proper. Like, it's gotta be baked right. Chocolate. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things of all time. Tiramisu, if you say otherwise, you are wrong. Tiramisu is lovely. I've only had it a handful of times, but as someone who isn't the biggest on, like, anything that has coffee flavor in it outside of coffee itself, tiramisu hits. What I can Boston cream pie, or like a Boston cream pie donut, something like that, that's really, really good. Really love that. I feel like there's others I'm forgetting. I've gone through a lot of dessert kicks in my day. So banana pudding is slept on. Something. Banana pudding. Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that. Hey, New Wafty. AdvyDeven, host of WatchaMania here, the WatchaMania channel. Other than that, really just a fan of wrestling. Nobody special or anything like that. But what is special is this is a 200 subscriber special for this channel, which really got active just about 8 months ago. So it's really nice to have even gotten to this point here on YouTube, because this comes from somebody who was on Twitch for almost 3 years and didn't even get this many followers equated to subscribers. So it feels like this has really been an accomplishment. So yes, to answer your question, and it's Q&A. But yeah, banana pudding, Ray. I gotta check that out. I gotta give it a try sometime. This like WB. This is a WatchaMania. Oh, It's not like WWE. We do watch along to some WWE, but yes, we're primarily a wrestling watch-along channel. Mainly AEW, just because the fan base, the community is primarily amongst that fan base, as opposed to the WWE fan base, but we do watch WWE here and there. We'll watch the PLEs if they don't clash with another AEW show, so pretty much only the international shows, now that Collision's the thing. But, yeah, sorry. I'm getting the impression you might not be a WWE's fake. Yes, wrestling is pretty staged, because that's how wrestling works, bud. But, I'm getting the impression you're not a wrestling fan based on that, because you thought that was going to work or something. But, hey, that's a thing. I'm a fan of Boston cream donuts. Yes, Boston cream donuts are just chef's kiss. That one of the best breakfasts I could have. And that's saying something. I just have a real sweet tooth. I really lean towards chocolate things, but overall, major sweet tooth. This like, dude, that's funny. So yeah, fake, just like my personality. Ooh, rough. I love Stone Cold. Stone Cold's awesome. Stone Cold is pretty awesome, but yeah, Stone Cold also, I mean, aside from WrestleMania 38, hasn't done anything in 20 years. More about the modern side of things for wrestling, if I'm gonna be honest with you. I suppose represented by what we consume here at the channel. So I think I'll go pick the next question on the community post. Just try and fill Stone Cold the best. He is largely considered the GOAT, and you'd be hard to argue that, because he was the top guy at the time that wrestling in North America was like at its peak popularity. When shows were getting 6 to 10 million views a week, and granted, that's mainly because cable was the primary way of viewing things back then. That doesn't really represent how popular things are now very well. You can file like he's the best. Alright, hydrate, y'all. Hydration is important. So yes, the next question I got here on the community post comes from, yet again, another one of our enforcers, Ben Binomomino, co-host over on the Fight Forever streams, and one of our several co-hosts on the MyGM mode streams, which is going to be returning October 3rd. Do watch out for that. He asks, what made me want to start streaming? Well, that's a loaded question. Because, well, I've been a big fan of wrestling my whole life. Not my whole life, majority of my life. I became a big fan. I discovered wrestling at 12 and became a big fan then. I didn't get into streaming to have anything to do with wrestling, mainly because I didn't think it was going to get anything It wasn't going to be an environment I'd fit into. Those who know me a little bit more personally know that I'm an artist, that I grew up, before even wrestling, I grew up on animation, anime, comics, manga, mainly manga. I say comics, then people jump to all these DC comics and stuff like that. I have arrived. Hello, Zoe. Welcome. I got your question earlier, the match stipulation one. That one kind of stumped me. But yes, what made me want to get into it is, like, I wanted to put my art out there because, well, this is a lot of fun, and I love this, and honestly, this became something that I don't want to let go of. But at the same time, my true dream is to be a story writer, specifically a comic story writer, a comic story artist. I want to write and draw my own comics and put my own stories out there, because I have this major story that I wrote one time. Well, not one time. I wrote with a couple of friends when I was like 16, and it was real. That became the fuel of the fire, and before you know it, it evolved into something. So wanted to be like, all right, let's try to get my art out there. And over time, I started streaming other things. It was like, oh, I have this thing, and it would be fun, and people here want to do it, and people want to do it. And it was really just kind of trying to find how I fit. But overall, starting the streaming was to try and help get some eyes on my creatives. And that's still part of the goal. But this is a bit of a long-term, I don't want to say detour, but this has definitely become a new path carved to my destination and how I want to still make that. In a perfect world, I'd love to still be doing WatchaMania full time, and then my day job be me making those comics that I want to make, you know? So really have always been overly aspirational in that regard. I've always been like, oh, this is something that I really want to venture down. Hell, my next question is going to have something to do with D&D. That's another thing that really caught my eye. It started deterring me away right around the time that I started getting into streaming and stuff like that. Hello partners. So easy. Yes, Zoe. I love it. The Zoe fan club is out in full effect. She deserves all the love and welcome. Austin316 said, I just whooped your ass. What? I can't do the voice. I shouldn't try. I will always try to mimic. I will always try to do some voice or wacky impersonation, and I most often will fail at it, but can't knock me for trying. Sorry. Get my next bout of caffeine. I need GTA 6. GTA 6 is a thing that will happen eventually. I actually just got GTA 5 back. I got to install it again. My brother and a friend of mine have gotten back on that, so it's a good way to keep up with them. I've kind of not in touch with them as I'd like to be. Round myself back up to the want to start streaming. So yeah, what made me want to start streaming is to try and build an audience for creatives, and wrestling is just kind of overtaken that. But we'll get to it eventually, and those who are interested in that can follow that as well. But as far as I'm concerned, WatchaMania is going to live as long as I can stand it to. So yes, my next question comes from my other YouTube channel. Random roleplay. Thanks y'all for posting this. Why don't you play more D&D? So yeah, part of that story that I mentioned. It's funny that these kind of questions go together because they're posted back to back by different people. October 26th. Oh wow, really? This year for GTA 6? That's interesting. But yeah, around 2018, in the journey of drawing and writing, I've discovered D&D, which it really influenced my growth as a story writer, being able to create a world for people to react and help flourish in their own way. If you don't know D&D, I won't get too much into it because it's like the most niche of niches in nerdom, like out there possible. It was taboo for so long, like you were an irredeemable geek if you played D&D, but thanks to Critical Role a decade ago, D&D started escaping that stigma. Anyways, yes, that's something that I was doing. I was streaming D&D Thursdays on TRG Network for a bit before moving it over to my own personal YouTube channel, but schedules get in the way of that. There's a lot of moving parts and trying to maintain something like that, as well as maintaining the quality of something like that. So it was just one of those things where I couldn't quite get the stars to align on. D&D is still something that I very much enjoy playing in my own personal time with friends. specifically on Mondays, I'll still have my group that I got together with like over 4 years ago now. It's like September, actually, yeah, this month. It was September 2019 when we started all getting together. And the rest is history. Shout out to Zelos. If not, that was technically my very first experience streaming, was on his stream when starting off that game, which then eventually became a private game. But if not for that, I probably might not have ever shook the fear of trying to hit that live button and get started. Took a little over a year to get there in late 2020, but I did. So, shout out to him. Yes. Let me double check. Let me see if I got any more questions here on the community list. Okay, no. Looks like we're coming up towards the end here, y'all. If no one else has questions in the comments section, and I've only got one more here on the YouTubes. Yes. What is that? Oh, this is Owen. This is an 80s remix of Owen Hart's very 80s style music. Okay, interesting. Alrighty, yes. So yeah, final call for questions, y'all. I figured this would be a shorter stream. I didn't think this was going to go a full hour or anything like this. If this was like a 600 subscriber special or something like that, maybe that would have gotten a little more traction in that regard, but I'm not knocking it. The fact that this wasn't a complete dud is good enough for me. I got on here so nervous, fully expecting to have like 4 questions and this be a 7-minute stream. But y'all have really helped the nerves. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to you, Nawaf, by the way. Thank you for coming by. I'm not sure if you subscribed or anything. Do consider subscribing. I'm not sure if wrestling's even your thing, but the subscription wouldn't hurt. In fact, it would very much help. Hell, thumbs up even would go a long way for us. But yes, this final question. Who is your favorite wrestler that isn't Bryan Danielson? This one made me chuckle when I see it because, like, yeah, y'all... If you've been here for more than 5 seconds, you know that's my guy. You know he's my dude. And, so yeah, who's my favorite wrestler that isn't Bryan Danielson? That's really hard, because if you asked me this a few years ago, I would be like, toss it between Jeff Hardy and The Undertaker. Because Undertaker is who got me into wrestling in 2007. His character work was like none other. It really transcended my perception of wrestling that only existed due to outside sources. You know, trying to influence, oh, wrestling's fake, oh, wrestling's dumb, well, you don't need to bother with that. It's stupid. And I tried it, and Undertaker is what made me want to watch it again and again. But the one who made me become a fan and think, I want to do this one day, or at the very least, I want to be more myself than I have been before, was Jeff Hardy. Unfortunately, Undertaker is a bit too much of an old-time personality for my liking, but that's not to say he's problematic in any way, just different beliefs. He's a little man's man for my liking. But, and then on the other hand, Jeff Hardy has constantly had struggles that he has yet to get past. And that's a real fight. So, pretty much I'm stalling because I don't have a solid answer. Game of History, Miami City. Oh, I love that. It goes back to Vice City. I'm happy for that. Sorry, my nose is like really itchy. So yeah, I'd have to say, if not for Danielson. So I'm trying to think who I really latched onto when Danielson wasn't around. Kevin Owens really, really captivates me sometimes. That's a hard one. Dang it. Shout out to Derm, by the way. Derm5338. Never make it live, but they're always in the comment sections and stuff. And they're the ones who asked this question. They're actually the first one to post on the post. Danielson really saved my love for wrestling. Damn it. This is hard. This is harder than I want it to be. Because I don't want to say something like Hook, Because I love Hook, but he hasn't gotten there to where he's like, I'm like most excited to see him. I gotta go most out of his way to see it. This struggles are real. Claudio would be one to really shout out, but again, I don't know if I could call him my favorite. I'm trying to think of like someone who just captivated me when they were on. I had to see them. We know Hook is must see. He is. He is. That feels like a bit of a cop-out, though. Probably. Because I'm looking up and down the AEW roster. It's funny enough, because Durham asked this question when they have a Becky Lynch profile picture. And Becky Lynch is hard to not go to as well. She is definitely one of my favorites. I remember when she won me over at, I believe it was TakeOver... Not Rival. It was TakeOver Unstoppable. Her match with Sasha that she ended up on the losing end of. Cat won me over. When the crowd sat there and sang her song to her unprompted while she was walking out after the match, it was magic. I'm going with Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch's ascent as the man was something that was so awesome to me. Yeah. Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is my favorite wrestler that isn't Bryan Danielson. And I totally get a lot of people think she's overrated. A lot of people think Danielson's overrated for that matter. But I think that's a testament of quality. When people are sitting there, I will not say my opinions on Becky after NXT. Feel free to run her down if that is your feeling. If it isn't Crybaby Inc., then it's not the best. You're damn right, Zoe. The greatest team to ever live. Crybaby Inc. represent. No. Here's the thing. I like Becky Lynch winning the NXT title, but I completely understand the criticism of that's the developmental championship, or, you know, that's the title that should be competed for by people who are who are working their way up in the industry. That being said, I don't think it's quite her decision. The Guns they couldn't even hold a candle. Austin Guns should stick to rapping. This our industry. Oh, Rhea, no! I forgot about the bit. I ran myself into that one. That's hilarious. That's great. The Guns could. No. We're really talking Zoe has some feelings about Tiffany Stratton. That is my understanding. Yes, y'all. Thank you. It looks like we've reached the end of our little Q&A here. Speaking of respect, what if Mandy takes it off, Becky? That'd be put some respect on my name. Oh my god, no. I hope Mandy gets her job back because she shouldn't have lost it. But also, I think Mandy might go to AEW. Right. Oh, this is more trolling of Zoe. This is mean. This harassment in my chats I shan't stand for. No. But yeah, I think we reached the end of our Q&A, y'all. Thank you so much for coming out and participating. This was an interesting thing. I wasn't sure if this was going to work out, but I appreciate y'all for making it work out. Those who came out live, those who posted on the community post, I really appreciate y'all. Do drop a thumbs up on this video. If you came out for the first time, consider subscribing. This is the vibes that bring you when we're watching wrestling or when we're gaming wrestling. And here's to 300 subscribers and beyond, right? Thank you, Cam. This is really been... Thank you, Rhea. Appreciate that. That hits. That hits. Hello, Ron. Welcome. We are just wrapping up here. Here's the 200 more. Yes. I'd love that. Maybe next time I'm going to have y'all pick what we celebrate doing for the 300 subscriber special, or maybe we'll wait till 500. Depends, because we're almost at 250 now as it stands, y'all, which is awesome. Okay, and there's a few shout outs I haven't done here, so please hear me out really quick. First off, shout out to Ryan XJXP. They're the ones who got us over to got us over to 200 to begin with. We were sitting at 193.1 MyGM stream, popped in, and he's like, I just noticed you're almost at 200. 1 second, and then before we knew it, we had like 8-9 new subscribers, and we hit that threshold. It was solely thanks to Ryan XJXP and the Big Boy Club, his community, that really helped us get over that threshold. Maybe we'd have reached it eventually, but it was his generosity that got us there to begin with. So shout out to him. I'd love for y'all to go give him a follow if you have a Twitch or a YouTube. It's Ryan XJ. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ryan X. There we go. Ryan XJXP. I believe that is the proper spelling. Do give him a follow somewhere else. Another one I'd like to give out is to Enix. Enix is the owner of all this music that's been playing during this stream. They let me use this music for my stream intros and outros and things like this. Really appreciate them for that. Just wanted to put that out there. The link to their channel straight up in the description below if you want to give it a follow, because this is some great music. 80s remixes of modern and classic wrestling music. Go give it a check out. But that's enough for me, y'all. Thank you so much for indulging. I'll see y'all Tuesday for the Fight Forever stream. If not, Wednesday for the Dynamite stream as normal. Till next time, y'all. Happy wrestling. Peace.